We are back in Kanto again, with a lot of familiar faces, along with some new faces to the Pokemon games. The Pokemon manga character Green gets an appearance, and we even get a new rival being Trace. Regardless of the new mechanics and the new characters though, Let's Go surprisingly has a roster of really difficult trainers. These trainers also have the ability to rematch them, and those teams get even harder from there. New trainers known as Super Trainers also exist, so you know that this game has all kinds of crazy trials and tribulations. Strong trainers are definitely what can make a Pokemon game really rough for a player, and that's why today I wanted to count down the top 10 strongest trainers in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. With this list, I will be including rematch teams because in my eyes, those teams are the most difficult and provide the most challenge. Alright, let's count down the strongest trainers in Let's Go. I am one of those people who has always found Lorelei hard to some degree. The most difficult part I have always found about Lorelei is her Jynx and Lapras. As a kid, I didn't know fighting type Pokemon got annihilated by Jynx, so I would use them against Lorelei recklessly. Jynx always annoyed me with all those status element attacks, and though it isn't quite as annoying in these games, I still felt fairly annoyed when rematching her. Plus you have her Lapras who is 10 levels stronger than before, and this thing is as tanky as all heck. Lorelei is only the beginning of this list. The battles get more difficult from here. Quite frankly, I have to say, in my opinion, one of the hardest gym leaders is Lieutenant Surge. All of his Pokemon have Thunderbolt. This move at the point of the game where you face him is ridiculously powerful, only having 2 badges, and having 90 base power and stab. Even with a ground type Pokemon like Dugtrio or Diglett, his Pokemon are pretty quick, especially with Raichu having quick attack. My advice, pick up a Diglett and make sure it's a decent level or a Dugtrio. If you decide to rematch Surge, his team gets even more deadly and he even has a Jolteon. Jolteon is one of the fastest Pokemon in Kanto, and it can dent teams if you don't have a ground type Pokemon. Be careful of Surge, I'm just saying. Also, watch out for that Thunderbolt, it packs a punch. Even more deadly than Lorelei comes Bruno, more so his rematch team. Machamp being his ace is super scary to come against, even if you have a flying Pokemon or a psychic Pokemon. Be careful, a hit from Machamp can put you down. Most psychic Pokemon in Kanto are glass cannons. Even if you use psychic, I guarantee it's not going to take out Machamp in one hit unless you have great IVs and a decent nature. Be careful of superpower too, because one hit from that and your team is nearly toast. I don't think taking jump kicks is all that great neither. Hitmonlee is super fast and taking jump kicks is going to dent your team a lot. Hitmonlee has highest speed and attack, so be careful of that. With the addition of his Alolan Golem now too, he has a deadly Thunder Punch. On top of these 3 Pokemon I mentioned, all of his Mons have access to the majority of the elemental punches. With wide coverage, this makes this rematch even more difficult, so please be careful. Bring an Alakazam. I think that's your best bet. Just make sure it's a high enough level. I remember how threatening Agatha can be, and even now in Let's Go, she still lives up to that reputation. She claims to be a so-called ghost-type trainer, but we all know that's crap. She only has one ghost Pokemon on her team, and that's Gengar. And I guess because it was the only ghost-type in Generation 1, I suppose I can let it slide. What makes Agatha deadlier now than before is because of the fact her Gengar has been set free. Set free? What? Yeah, the physical special split is gone, meaning her Gengar now has free reign to sweep almost any team it runs into. Dark-type Pokemon don't exist here unless you count Alolan Raticate, but let's be real, Alolan Raticate kinda sucks. Even with that though, one of her Gengars knows Dazzling Gleam, and that's kinda scary considering this special attack king has been freed. Golbat also knows Leech Life, which is now an 80-based physical attack bug-type move. So dark Pokemon can get taken out there too because Golbat is extremely fast. She isn't done yet though. She brought Alolan Marowak, which is also another heavy hitter. I know earlier I mentioned that Gengar was the only ghost type. No, this Pokemon is too. Gengar is the true Kanto ghost type though. Taking a Flare Blitz from this physical attacking demon can mean trouble if you're not careful. Watch out for Agatha, guys. She's the toughest she's ever been in Pokemon. I don't think I couldn't include the ex-champion of Kanto. Welcome to the list, Lance. Lance is here because of his illustrious typing of Dragon. Dragons have 3 weaknesses, being Fairy, Ice, and Dragon. I feel Lance is the most prepared for these typings, especially with his rematch team. Some of his Pokemon are equipped with Iron Tail, which can shred Ice types and Fairy types. The Dragon Pokemon get slimed with Dragon attacks, and even with his team being Dragon, there is only one true Dragon evolution line in Kanto, being the Dragonite one. Dragonite with a lot more deadly attacks in Generation 7 makes Lance so much more difficult to defeat feat in my opinion. His Pokemon just seem to have a lot more coverage compared to his earlier teams in Gens 1, 2, and 3. This time, he means business with dragons, and it helps him out even more because most of his Pokemon actually aren't even Dragon type. They have Dragon Attack, so that actually helps him a lot. So just having your own Dragonite may not be able to help you much in this case, unless of course it's a super highly leveled one, but then again, having a super high level Pokemon isn't all that fun, especially when you can take out all the Pokemon in one shot. Lance means more business this time, so be wary of him. Dragon typing is my favorite typing in Pokemon. Lance is also my favorite champion and trainer in the entire Johto conference. I respect him highly, even now, and just like I did back when I was a kid. As always in a Pokemon game, the champion is supposed to be the hardest battle in many of the Pokemon games, though I don't think so in Let's Go. I will, however, pay homage to Trace and his team of Titans because they are pretty freaking powerful. He's the champion, so I think it's only natural he receives a spot on this list. He doesn't necessarily have a specific typing, so he is undoubtedly, in my eyes, that much tougher because his team has a wide typing of variety and has a wide move pool on each of his Pokemon. To me, just because he has so much variety on his team is what makes him difficult. Each of his Pokemon can almost take care of all their weaknesses, and it's just a great balanced team. The only advice I can give to anyone is to just tread carefully and know your type advantages. One of my favorite characters in this entire list finally emerges. Welcome, Green. So I have never actually read the Pokemon manga adventures, but after seeing this, I'm honestly super inspired to do so. And even thinking about it, I would love to tackle manga videos on my channel. Green was always a trainer I never knew about until a couple years ago when I actually realized the Pokemon manga existed. I didn't know this until around 2014. Pretty much all there is to say about Green is how great her team is. Just like Trace, her entire team consists of more balanced typings and a wide move pool. She has a typing for almost every weakness her team has, and it's based off of her Pokemon manga team. I think what makes her a little bit more difficult than Trace though, is the fact she has a Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is a super hard-hitting Pokemon and a balanced normal-type Pokemon. This Pokemon hits like a truck, and with a team that has a lot of variety typings on it, a normal-type Pokemon brings even more variety to the table. It's not just variety though. All these moves are just so powerful, and her Clefable even has Reflect and Light Screen. She has such a nice, well-balanced team, so I figured I had to include her on this list. I love how Game Freak included her in these games. It's so awesome to see a brand new character emerge. Returning to his previous power, Blue Motherfreaking Oak emerges to the top 3 of this list. His team, like Green's, has a lot of variety and power. It's a team that consists of many types, and even in previous Pokemon titles, his teams have been known for having those qualities. Everything looks hunky-dory on his team, similar to Green's, and then you see his Alakazam, one of the most powerful Pokemon at Kanto. I think we all know how strong Alakazam can be. One Psychic and it can mean a big dent in your team. Dark Pokemon? He has Dazzling Gleam for that. Why does he have Foul Play though? Do you guys know? Let me know in the comments. Other threatening Pokemon he has are Aerodactyl, Tauros, and his entire team is crazy powerful. Aerodactyl is amazingly fast and can hit your team for some fat damage. And like I mentioned with Green having Kangaskhan, Tauros provides that same role, especially with Double Edge and all the coverage moves it has. Blue has always been crazy powerful, and even now still maintains that image. He deserves the number 3 spot on this list, hands down. This man right here. You can't even breathe without the thought of his name scaring you. Red is the most powerful trainer on this list with the exclusion of some other battles you can do at the end of the game. Red's Pokemon are all in the 80s, and he is the strongest trainer in the entire game. All of his Pokemon have variety wide move pulls, blah blah blah, all that stuff I said earlier. But everyone just knows that Red is the most powerful of them all. He is Kanto. When people ask who's the most powerful trainer in Kanto, people are like, Red. Pokemon fans know the answer to that question without a doubt. I don't think I need to talk about which of the Pokemon are the most challenging because all of his Pokemon are challenging in some way. It's Red. Like, come on. I just wish we could have seen V the Eevee or some cameo of it for the Let's Go Eevee players. It's super cute and has some really cool powers. So I'm gonna make this brief. Master Trainers are ridiculously powerful. They are one-on-one trainers that will have a one-on-one battle with all the Kanto Pokemon. You're only allowed to use the Pokemon they want to battle with. They are level 75 and they have moves that have the advantage of your own Pokemon, making them very challenging to take on. One-on-one battles make it that much more difficult too. These are the most powerful trainers in the games, and I promise you, they will give you a run for your money. Well, that pretty much wraps up the top 10 strongest trainers in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. These trainers gave me a run for my money when I played these games, and I'm pleased to say I'm glad they did. What truly makes a Pokemon game fun are the trainers Game Freak provides us for a true challenge. I felt like they didn't hold anything back on us, and I'm super glad they didn't. Also, shoutouts for bringing in the manga characters. That is so cool. What do you guys think are the most challenging trainers though? Share them with me in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like shiny hunting, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Zelda, Fire Emblem, you guys name it, I play it. Want to support me further and gain cool perks? Check out my Patreon. Fly Jubilee, Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, and Jarrett Weeze Austin did, and I wanted to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.